So we're going to go on a little sneak peek tour of the Talon green room here. So as we go through, you can see the talent sitting there. They're on the phones, they're chilling. James, Pengu, say hi. Hi, guys. We've got the TVs here, we've got the snack station, the drinks, and we've got Carter here pouring out a coffee. How's it going, Carter?
It's going good so far. There we go.
That's a lot of coffee. Are you going to add any water to that coffee or just throw it in the bin?
It's done.
Okay, fine. No worries. We'll carry on. We've got little makeup rooms here to get ready in. The Red Bull fridge, of course. Makeup's in there. That's where we get made to look all nice and pretty. And if we actually go and have a look, we can see what's behind this door with these little rooms that we've got. Doki, what are you doing? What's going on?
I'm dispelling the G2 cars. Go away.
Okay. I guess, I don't know. I didn't know that was behind there. I guess he's dispelling the G2 cars. They might fall apart, but yeah, I guess we end the talent room tour there. Back to the desk.
Hello and welcome to us. No, do not adjust your sets. Don't change your channels. Stop, please stop. It's us from the B stream. We're here to give you the hot goss about what has just happened.
Is it really all that hot?
It's a little bit. No, it's kind of lukewarm gossip between the result between Dark Zero and Scarz that just happened on Nighthaven Labs.
Yeah, it was a 7-2 win for DZ. It was the only 2 rounds Scarz got were on their defensive side, if I recall correctly, and then it was a flawless side rotation from DZ. Really strong game from Bolo individually. Literally whipped out the Revolver 1 round to ego challenge people and got a 3K doing it.
Yeah, got a couple of kills, yeah. Scarz was a little bit sheepish, a little bit shy, a little bit scared, a little bit not quite sure what they wanted to do.
It's really disappointing. They looked stronger against the world champs Furia yesterday, against DZ today. I was hoping to see maybe Rek and Nina have a little bit better of an individual performance, get in the face of DZ, and it simply didn't happen. They were passive, they were slow, and DZ looked sharp and on point. So going to their promotion game tomorrow, very excited to see what they can do.
I mean, that's the sort of line, right? That's where we're sort of sitting, as you can see on the stats that were on screen a moment ago. And how they're sort of piecing themselves together. It was a huge showing from Bolo, but the confidence of Dark Zero, I think, is to be the most sort of stated thing. They were cool, calm, collected.
As you want from DZ.
As you want from DZ. There was a couple of Monty rounds, but everything seemed very well within their park. Scarz, a lot of pressure.
Especially now they're that 1-2 position. I mean, thankfully, at least at Atlanta and SI, they weren't able to win a series. So here they've done better than they have at the previous 2 international events, but getting top 8 like they did and shocked everybody at Copenhagen over a year ago, I don't think it's in the cards for them this time, unfortunately.
Well, unfortunately, that is all that it is from us for now as well. Thank you for letting us steal your streams and your airwaves. What we are going to now is some very cool content with Liquid. Know your mate. Do they know each other? Do you know them? Do I know you? I don't know who this is. Let's see.
Holy shit. All right. Okay, so speaking of sleep, who goes to bed the latest at events?
In my opinion, it's Hugo, our coach, because like he works better at like midnight or 1 a.m. So yeah, in my opinion, it is Hugo.
Yeah, I agree with Hugo. He spent the night like seeing VODs and studying our adversaries. That's it.
Adversários, fala em português. Our enemies.
I said in Portuguese because...
Adversários.
At least it's funny, but okay. No, yeah, that's good.
And who's the biggest tourist on your team? Who likes to see the sights?
So in my opinion, it's Maya, our new player on the team. Like he went through all the restaurants, at least the restaurants that has some hamburgers. So he loves it. So yeah, Maya.
Yeah, Maya likes to go to the street and have some walking, so yeah, that's it.
And who collects the most souvenirs when you guys travel?
Nossa, difícil.
Eu diria você.
Eu?
In my opinion, it's Resets. Like he always buy a souvenir for his family or for his own. So yeah, in my opinion, it's Resets.
Yeah, probably because every time I go to a new country, I always bring some souvenirs for my family. Yeah, that's it.
All right. And then looking at sports, who's the biggest sports fan?
Sports fan? I'm pretty sure it's me. Before I turned a pro player, a professional esports player, my dream was to become a tennis player, but I got injured. Because of that, I started playing video games. So yeah, I think it's me.
Yeah, Lagons, he plays like every sport in the world, so yeah, that's it.
And who has the best aim on Team Liquid right now?
In my opinion, it's Maya. He has the best aim. Like he knows where to how to win rounds like solo maybe. So yeah, in my opinion, Maya has the best aim right now.
For me, it's Nesk because like he the goats of the game. So are a little bit old, but still the goat.
Nice.
Speaking of being old, who's the wisest on your team?
We don't know what is.
Wise is like being, you know, like Gandalf the Grey is wise and a wizard, you know, very...
Essa responde.
Eu não sei quem que é o mais sábio.
Vai da tua
It's
interpretação.
a hard one.
Eu vou falar o mesmo. You are talking about like inside the server or like at all?
Just everywhere.
So in my opinion, like inside the game, I think I'm a little bit smarter because I am the IGL, so I need to study more the game. But outside the game, I think Rosette is very good. Like he knows a lot of things about history and these things. So it's very nice to have a chat with Rosette about history. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I am very like in the school. I was very great. So yeah, probably me outside the game.
All right. And who is the calmest person in the team, just outside the game even?
É mais engraçado, né?
No, calmest.
Era calmo.
Mais calmo.
Okay.
For me, I think it's Lagonis. Like he's a very chill boy. So yeah, I think it's him.
Yeah, I think it's me. Like I'm a little anxious before the matches, but at all, like in the day by day, I'm very calm. So yeah, I think it's me.
And who has the weirdest hobby?
Hobby mais esquisito.
I don't know if like one of the players has the weirdest lobby, but in Brazil we love go-karting, so we drive a lot. Me, Reset, Nesk, Maya. So it's not that weird, but we love doing this in Brazil. So we spend a lot of time on this. Like after the practice, that's nice. We love going for drive a little bit of kart.
For me, it's Nesk. When he was younger, he likes to dance like freestyle, and for me, it's very weird. So yeah.
Well, that concludes that.
Okay.
He dances?
Yeah, very.
Good afternoon, everybody. BDS versus PSG Talon. Well, it's about to begin. BDS, of course, hailing our #1 team in Europe. And PSG Talon, well, they are the #1 from Korea. And both teams find themselves 1-1. One win, one loss so far in Phase 2 of our playoffs here at the Manchester Major. Both teams look quite exciting, to say the least. Welcome back to the analyst desk, and thank you, Jeannie, for, I guess, the pre-break hello and goodbye in many ways. But hi, I'm Milos, your host for this upcoming game. With me are Alfama and Mr. Fresh himself. Now, let's talk about our two squads here, because sure, they're both 1-1 in their current record, but the story is a bit different if we're comparing them.
Yeah, it's clearly not the same story. I think in general, like, nobody's expecting BDS to be 1-1 here. Everybody expected them to go 2-0, and everybody expected PSG Talon to be 0-2, right?
Yeah.
But I think it also goes to show, like, who they were facing before. BDS faced Furia coming into the tournament, so that's kind of giving them the best excuse, right, to lose to the world champions. And then SSG, so two really strong teams, top of their region. Whereas if you look at PSG, it was Bleed and E1, I think, you know, not necessarily the strongest opponents you could get in Phase 2, which got them here. But from both sides, very close games.
Yeah, I love these 1-1 games because, like you say, both teams are 1-1 in scoreline, but expectations for both, I mean, yesterday, having played the two games and the overall tournament, could not be, like, further from these two teams. You know, like you say, BDS expected for the tournament. Talon, I think PSG Talon are more expecting to come here and have a learning process with the team. You know, get those European scrims in, learn what it's like to be in the officials, learn what it's like to pressure, and also for the players as well. Learn what the increased attention is like. Obviously, they have picked up Fabian and Pengu, you know, that are on the books there. So they've got a lot more attention on them as a team than previously they've ever had.
It's actually something that Wettable said before, that on the stage here, he said, we don't have the best stream quality in APAC. And it's the same thing for PSG Talon. And whenever you go to these international tournaments, you try to have as many rounds as possible against these top teams from each region, because that's when you learn the most. So that's what they will be looking for, especially against a team like BDS. I love to stream them before, because whenever you play against them, they will expose every hole you have. And this is when you learn the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's in those losses that you will learn the most, especially since they have kind of good staff behind them, at least we imagine, in Joker and Fabian, of course, who team up to put this team, PSG that is, through the major in Manchester. But if we were to pick 2 players out, one from each one of these teams, and put them in our head-to-head, who would it be? Wesley, Kefak, and Ryder. Why are we comparing these 2 here?
So there's a couple of reasons for this. First and foremost, in the games yesterday, so this is the overall stats from all of yesterday from Phase 2 so far. However, what I will say is in the last games yesterday, both games that both teams won, obviously BDS beat out SSG, PSG Talon beat out E1 Sports. Now, in those games, they were both very close games individually, and it was their performances that meant both of these teams were in the 1-1 game rather than the 0-2 games, because they both popped off inside of those specific games.
Yeah, actually very similar operator lineup if you look at it, right? 2 entries, both on back, and then they play a really strong defender operators that has enough freedom to roam around, to go and look for these opportunities. I think what surprises me the most here is actually Likefak being able to do it and actually calling at the same time. It's actually an interesting take to have your entry in the front line or your roamer be the one that calls, because he's further away from the others, but he's the one that sees the most about the map. And that's also an interesting way to call it, because most of the team, usually back in the days, you had your in-game leader from the back line. But the valuable information that he's able to get is super, super important for BDS.
That's the evolution of you have an IGL that can command from the front line. It's something that I feel has been the case in pretty much every single shooter esport that is out there. And over the past, 12 years that I've been in this, I've seen this evolution through that time. But what do people believe about which team will win this game? Let's take a look at our predictions in the Twitch chat. Good God, 81% for BDS. Though I wonder how many of the 19% going in for PSG Talon are here, one, to be contrarians, or just because Fabian is on the team.
Maybe, and maybe. I mean, let's not forget that yesterday when we did this for BDS against Furia, BDS were like 70% against Furia as well. They managed to lose that game. I think the expectations for this game, wholeheartedly, you know, on the it's very hard to find a way where you see PSG Talon winning this.
Yeah.
I don't see any way that there's a weakness that they can exploit. They can't leverage anything in my mind other than putting in the best performance and best account of themselves that they can get and hoping BDS have a very off day.
If you remember what Mentalist said after beating PSG yesterday, it was actually like, don't overcomplicate things. You just play your defaults, you're the better team, you should be winning this.
Yeah.
And I think if BDS just goes with the same plan, if they just play the classic default stakes that they have, there is no reason they should lose to PSG. I don't think anything that they will throw at them will be too surprising. It's a BO1, there is always an upset potential, but here it's very small.
Yeah, and here BDS have to prove that they deserve to be in the top teams, because we've been hyping them up forever. They played top teams to get here, whereas PSG are trying to gather intel and show everybody that they're not just underdogs. They can actually overperform to people's expectations, but maybe things will play out specifically on our map. So let's pull up those map bans. We'll have all 9 maps in our pool, remove 8 of them in the bans. We'll be left with BDS going for Oregon and PSG starting off on defense.
Yeah, am I surprised to see Oregon? Not really. I think for PSG Talon, they've got quite a limited map pool in terms of where they can and can't go, as we've kind of seen across Korea and so far in this tournament. For BDS, they play every map, but the map that they played yesterday, where Likefak went absolutely nuclear, was Oregon itself. And they'll be comfortable playing Oregon. They always have been. I think BDS are quite close to a 9-map pool at this point. However, for Talon, we saw them yesterday play Oregon up against Bleed, and they actually really struggled. They couldn't win an attack. They were super passive in attack. They were so disjointed. And then when they were on the defense, it was like they were attacking. They were swinging everything, and it nearly cost them as well. Or it did cost them.
That's my biggest worry, the actual difference between their attacker side and the defender side. Because the thing with Fabian, I think that his strategy is actually very smart. He focuses on one map because he knows he cannot get his team on the same quality and level as all the others on the other map pool. BDS has an incredible map pool, but when it's a BO1, whatever happens, you're still playing only one map. So that's the thing for PSG Talon right now. Step it up in attack. That's the most important thing, because that's where they struggle.
Normally when we come into Oregons, especially in best of ones, we turn around and we say whoever wins that tertiary sites on defense could win the game. I think this defense half of PSG, like you say, they need to either improve their attack significantly, which is what they were terrible at yesterday, or they need to come out of this with like a 6-0 defense half to be competitive in my mind.
Put simply, the 6th first round of this match will determine the winner.
Yeah.
That's quite possible. And of course, attack rounds are also important, have been over the past 6 months, and they will continue to be so in competition. But let's get into our game. Our casters are ready. Ace and Des, gents, please have fun. This is going to be a cool one.
Ain't it just Milosh? Thank you very much. I tell you what, the timing on that one. Before every single game, me and Fit, we always do this. And literally, as you came to us, we were just like, getting back to it nice and quick. But yes, we've got another game coming up. And Tim, we've said after our first one, a 7-0, this one feels like it could go the same way.
It does. We've got to be honest about it. Obviously, PSG, we say that, and I said that, and I agree with that. But at the same time, I was just looking at PSG Talon's 2 results so far. Took Bleed to 12 rounds. Had a good performance against E1. You know, they've played teams that, especially in Bleed, I think. Bleed, who are 2-0, still took them to 12 rounds. And I think, you know, they're starting on the defence of Oregon. There's an opportunity for him to at least grab some rounds.
Hang on a minute, you didn't sound like this when we were off air. You were a big time like.
I know, but I've just been perusing the stats, so I was like,
so you've actually now done the analysis and now you've changed your tune.
No.
Right,
Look,
I see.
BDS are going to win this game. I'm pretty confident. Okay. I would be, you know, I think it would be a huge upset. It would be a huge surprise if PSG Talon come out and win this. We have to say that. BDS are one of the best 2 teams in the world at the minute. We saw that absolute, you know, battle of a game with Furia to begin the thing. You know, I fully expect BDS to come out and beat everybody else now on the way to the quarterfinal. I think the only loss they're going to take is that Furia game.
I do agree.
Is it going to be a complete and utter rollover of Talon? I think that will depend on PSG Talon here. If they get caught in the headlights, if they get caught looking at the superstar team, then yes, BDS could absolutely punish them.
I guess the side of it is you've got the superstar coach behind you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fabian will be saying they're just players. They are
nobody go and beat them.
They're no different to anyone else that you're going to play at this tournament. Don't worry about
That's the way they've got
it.
If they can picture that, and if they can show that mental fortitude to do that, then yeah, I think there's some rounds there that they can find maybe.
And maybe they will. We'll find out as we get through it then. First ban coming out is going to be the Flores against BDS coming out from Talon. The second one going to be the Ying, which I like that tactically coming out from BDS. And it looks like a very standard ban. Very fair chance they ban this quite a lot. But, and I don't mean this in a nasty way, but for Talon as a team that's still really trying to find themselves and figure out how to get to that higher echelon of play where teams like BDS play, Ying is what I dare say is a crutch operator, really good, as we saw against Spoit in our last map here, for flashing out a whole room, running in and killing people. It's a great way to overwhelm teams, unless it's a Warden around, of course. So I think taking away that a little bit from Talon might make them have to work a little bit harder to get some rounds on their attacking side here, and BDS are more than happy to play without it on their attacking half. Still, it might give a small edge over towards Talon, who could come out with a really strong first half here. They are on that defensive side, they could do a little bit of work, and the final 2 bans, just to note, the Solus and the Azami. Already spoke a lot about the Azami being taken away. I do think, and I'm kind of surprised more teams aren't banning her less, which I know sounds mad to say, but with the prevalence of DMRs in the game at the moment, there is a way to deal with that, and some teams have been doing that extremely well so far throughout the competition. And Solus, I think, as we all know, well, BDS can be an absolute terror with that operator. It does leave, though, at least on the attacking side for them, Deimos available, and Shaiko immediately hovering over that.
Attackers have located.
Like, if you sat down and asked most like Siege fans or players or whatever, what's your worst nightmare? I think up there would be you are being hunted by Deimos when Shaco's playing it.
I'll be honest, I think being hunted down by Shaco on any operator, I'd be scared if Shaco
He doesn't need Deimos.
If Shaco was hunting me down on the Monty, I'd be scared, if I'm honest. You know, I still don't think I'd come away with the win in that situation. An interesting, I love a fun coincidence there. You know me, very whimsical at times.
Here he is.
Well known for whimsy.
Come on, get it out.
Shaco and Leakafak have got almost identical stats after 26 rounds. I don't think I've ever seen 2 players with such closely identical and matching stats between them. There's 1 difference on the EPS, Shaco 112, Leakafak 111. There's only 1 kill different between them. Shaco has 23 and 18, Leakafak has 22 and 18. And then on the entry, Shaco is 4 and 3, Leakafak is 5 and 4. Other than that, everything else is identical. Same survival rate, same cost rate, everything. After 2 full games, 26 rounds, you know, a lot of play really across those first 2 maps. They've come out almost identical, but let's get back to this one. Shaco is going to be straight away looking to challenge the bottom of Freeze's stairs. He knows there's somebody down there, goes in and takes out the FNAP, but needs to be careful because he's going to know that he's going up against a shotgun here. We know that the Vendetta is good.
I don't know if maybe he should have followed that down because he knows that that nade is going to force Soldier back, but it's enabled Soldier just to get back on that close angle now.
And he had the track on Soldier as well, so knew exactly what his movements were going to be. But I think in nothing else, he doesn't want to go charging in here and dying for no reason when his team is still getting set up elsewhere around the map. And that's exactly what they're going for here. The E-Box hatch being opened up. May well try and keep this one locked away, and with no micro EMPs left, this will stay closed once they get the electrification down. It will force BDS to have to step in and really push in for the scrap on that one. You're looking maybe in towards Solotov here to help deal with this now. They've got one of those tin openers left in back pocket for Breeder, which I imagine will go on towards the lounge hatch, so Freezer will stay closed.
Yeah, it's not going to be the end of the world. Sharko's down at the bottom there now. He's got at least the control of that. It just means they can't really force him back from lockers necessarily. It's going to have to be kind of a hard fight, go in there and take it. But it really won't be the end of the world for them. I'm sure that they'll deal with it. And it's looking like they're going to try and get a little bit more aggressive, just using that Vendetta to create a little bit of a hole. I'm not sure that was the plan from Leakerfight, though, if I'm honest.
No, he wanted to get it towards back there where JLT is, so they can't just swing out and dome them as they try and push their way further up. Solotov is in there mincing through a couple of these Goyo canisters, so all the setup work being done by BDS here. Got the hatches, got players rotated to the right positions, for example, burning through those Goyo canisters. The next stage you now start looking at is what the execute looks like, but it's going to be explosive, Tim.
Sharko knows that JLT's there, but uncharacteristic from Sharko, missing a couple of shots there. Did have the opportunity to take the Goyo out as he was forced to move by that asphyxiation ball, but couldn't find it. Leakerpack, however, does come in, pick up Roy Boy. Sharko gets one, Solotov in on the action as well. 3 versus 1 now, all of a sudden. Solotov, Sharko close things out, and BDS in a heartbeat, Des, an absolute heartbeat, just run through the side, get the kills, and take round 1.
And again, it's just slow and composed, right? And this is what we saw out of BDS yesterday in the game that we casted theirs against Furia. I know, of course, they ended up losing the game. However, the composure that they had in so many of their attacking rounds was sublime. Very rarely did they set a foot wrong. No one is over-peaking and getting aggressive and dying a minute away from the rest of the team, for example. Everything is always kind of kept in its order. It's all moving at the same time. It's all about overwhelming the other side. That cognitive load that I spoke about yesterday. If you're giving a player 2 or 3 things to think about, they're only going to be able to take one gunfight, and fair chance to shoot a few in the back. Now, fair play to Talon. They got a couple of kills back the other way. They did start to shut down the advance, but BDS was still constantly moving, didn't find time to say, all right, guys, pull back, pause, let's figure this one out again. As soon as they said the word go, they go right until the very last moment there. And for Talon, it's just a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, the first kill came in at 2 minutes and 33 seconds there before BDS found anybody, but then 15 seconds later, everybody's dead and the round's done, and that's one of the problems with this BDS team when you're trying to play against them, is they really do have that ability to just think, you know what, we're not managing to create space for an execute here, we haven't got an opportunity to put it down, so we're just going to go and take the fights. There is so much gun skill available, they literally have, you know, gun skill to spare on this team, and it's going to be a very, very tall order for PSG Talon to be able to stand up to. So Leakerfight goes in aggressively. We see this quite often. So players inside a site, if you're wondering why that game's window is popular, to just get up there quickly and take a few aggressive shots, it works a lot of the time because you can get there in about 10 seconds and players are still moving around that site setting up and they're not always thinking about that window. Just spray through it. You'll quite often find somebody there, and it's something, take it away, try it at home. You'll get some kills from that game's window in the first 10-15 seconds of the round, guaranteed.
Mishoko's an absolute pro, spraying through softballs and finding people, and Solotov's about to get a freebie here. Roy Boy paying the price of being caught out. They just knew where he was, and he's got nothing to say about that. Blasted out from below. Maybe a little bit of a silly death for Taken, the same way you could argue the same about the Goyo in the previous round. Nice shot from Ryder, but from Goyo in the previous round being sat on laundry a little bit too long. You know, should have paid the price to Shaiko for free, but Shaiko, as you said, uncharacteristically missed a few shots. So a couple of silly deaths so far to start this off, and against BDS, a couple of silly deaths is all they need to go up 2-0.
Ryder's been the best player, talking ratings-wise.
It was huge, 20 and 10 in that game yesterday.
For PSG Talon, he's done absolutely fantastic work, and that was really well timed to take Leakerpack down. It's the Dockerby that's gone at the beginning of the round, so it maybe directly helps Ryder just be able to stay out there on the roam a little bit if he wants to. He may well have gone back to site. We'll see as the round progresses, but he can, you know, have that little bit of freedom. They can look for a flank later in the round potentially because they're not going to have them phone calls coming in now.
Solotov is honestly just playing like a piranha in this round, doing all that he can from below, trying to sink those teeth into the feet of unsuspecting PSG players. But even though he might not be collecting loads of kills here, it's about the movement and the worry that now puts in PSG's mind. Oh, he could be below us at any point. Are we being droned out here? Am I about to get skeleton keyed from below? That's perpetually going to be a worry, but the Warden here, planted inside the kids, has done enough. 2 quick kills come through for Talon. They hold firm against the push coming in from BDS. And I guess Solotov is still hunting from below here, but a little bit out of sync maybe with the rest of his team. Leaves it all down to him and Yuzu's 2 former M&M players to get this one done.
Yeah, BDS are a little bit concerned about that push there. Just going in, I think, trying to get aggressive. There's surely got to be another kill for Solotov here. He sees his man.
Wow, fair play.
Get shut down from the hatch. Misa managing to get a double despite the pressure coming from underneath. Really well played from PSG Talon. But again, I'm going to come back to that first game against Furia for BDS, which we cast. And I said a couple of times that there were instances that I didn't feel BDS had all the information that they needed before they pushed into an area. And I feel like it was the case again there. They went into site, they threw a bit of utility in there, but you can't rappel in through game's window when Misa's just sat there watching it, you know, and I just feel like BDS weren't really aware of that. And if there's anywhere that their game can improve, I feel like maybe just having, you know, all the information before they try to push is definitely going to be something that would be beneficial, because that's now a few times that I've seen it against Furia and here now against Talon, where they go into an area not quite aware that they're going into a line of sight.
And it's quite funny, really, because as I was talking about them making this really good all-in-one team play, you have 2 players move out of sync 30 seconds behind Yuzus and Solotov there. But even what I'll give them, yes, they lost that closing play, and Misa, fair play to him, was taking the fight onto window, was being booked from below, and then killed the player below as well. It's still a cute little bit of team play where one player's coming in window as he's being booked at from below. Normally, again, if they get that right and Solotov's hitting the right spots, of course, he's not going to know everything about exactly where Misa's going to be. But if Misa's looking downwards to try and challenge through those reverse angles, that's when you get a free kill coming in onto Yuzus. So even down to a 2vx, they're still trying to make these cute little moments of team play come together. Something that, as I said yesterday a few times, not every team attempts to do. So still like we're seeing that out of BDS. Still got that solid team play about them. But PSG at least get that 1 round on the board here. Shows that it's not going to be quite as dominant as maybe some might expect. I think many looked at this game and thought, oh, 7-0 incoming. Absolutely not.
Well, you've got to be, you know, you've got to look at games like this and think PSG Talon are still here for a reason. They're still capable. They've had to win games to get to Manchester. You know, they know what they're doing inside of a siege server. They've got some players with some gun skill and they're able, you know, to fight back. Would we expect BDS to have the advantage overall? Of course we would. You know, it'd be silly to say otherwise. But as we said at the beginning, PSG Talon will have rounds in them, and they've just shown that there. You know, they are playing without pressure, Des. They're playing without expectation. They're coming in here with everybody thinking, yeah, 7-0, 7-1. So there's no pressure on them whatsoever. They can play for a bit of fun. They can come in, they're trying things. They're, you know, in a period where they're trying to learn. There's a development process that's happening, and it's a great opportunity for them, and it seems like that's exactly how they're seeing it.
Ooh, I was going to say, we saw a couple of those outcomes at work. Shaiko is the one pushing into a shower, so won't have too much visibility on this. And right now, he's about to be facing down against both the Clash Shield and a shotgun. Not the ideal, and then the drop comes away. Imagine the Clash will also now work their way down the stairs, as we've now seen, to be a little bit more defensive. Still, half the round wasted here. Chewed through a lot of the intel game coming out from BDS. Half their drones dead. Certainly nothing to complain about here if you're Talon, I think, so far, setting themselves up well.
Yeah, I think Misa just needs to, be careful there in freeze. It was quite advanced, has dipped away now into highway, so that's what I was looking for, really, with that hatch open. Solotov able to get down to the bottom of freezer now, just try and work that long angle in towards Laundry again. It's something that they were able to benefit from last time, and able to force players deeper into sight, into the open arms of the players coming down from rear stage. So 50 seconds left to go. BDS have got a little bit more time this time, but haven't found any kills yet. Misa taking the shield off the back of the Clash though and looking to get aggressive onto rear stage. PSG Talon looking quite happy to take a couple of fights on.
And they're also out of information here, Tim. Now, when you're attacking in the basement, you know the key locations players will be in, so it's not like they're going in completely blind here, but they are going to lack the ability to catch players moving on flanks, for example. Solotov going well for himself so far. I believe that's his second entry in just the last couple of rounds. So starting out well, a second kill being rolled through as well. More back to the sort of form that we remember from the M&M days, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, Solotov, last time we saw him online in Copenhagen, had a fantastic tournament, and certainly looking to repeat that for Misa. Does manage to take the shield off and find users. JLT onto Shaiko as well. 3v3 Breeders. Gonna stick this plant though. BDS have got the cover that they need. 2 versus 2, but one of those is a clash. Get in there, start bullying these BDS players.
And he gives so much information now that JLT should have some free fights to be able to take out. Misa's got... What? How has Misa won that against Breeday? And he's in the spot as well, but Leaky Fat's coming around, but Misa goes nuclear! He deserved it. Misa, those ones, Tim. 4 kills in the round. Wow.
Absolutely beautiful stuff from the clash. Just spent so much time with that SMG in hand, looking to find those kills. Absolutely beautiful stuff from Misa.
You know what the pain is as well? BDS for 5v3.
It's one of those.
How often do you see them give those kind of rounds away?
It's a roll of the dice at the end there. You 2v2. Misa decides to whip the gun out and find a couple of kills. If he loses his life there, you're going to be shouting at your teammate going, why didn't you have the shield?
Did he 180? I don't know if he's like shield scoring Breeday. He must have, right? Like in what? Okay, never mind. He comes off it there. I thought maybe it was a little bit more kind of star points than that. Breeday thing hitting the chest rather than the head. Really what set the rest of that round up there. Massive. And what I love about this, like Fabian straight there, just like well done as well. Like, you know, making sure that he feels like he's done something real special there, because he has. You know, not many players can turn around and say, yeah, I got a 4K against BDS.
On a clash.
Yeah, of all operators to do it on is ludicrous. Great round though, and PSG Talon up 2-1. Brilliant start to this game. Now we've got the offside to play through though. Meeting going to come in next, and like we saw in our last map, the main way to be effective here I think is early disruption if you can. We saw the line and the thermite picked off early last time round, which meant that meeting room wall stayed wide open. Oh sorry, stayed fully closed rather than wide open. Staying closed up, couldn't plant in traditionally as you might expect with the offset, and they paid the price for it.
Solotov on the Bravo then, straight in, just looking to grab some of that intel. Will manage to get the first default camera, going to grab an Athnat as well. That's a big pickup there. It's just opening up that avenue in from Garage, especially if they're unaware of it. And if you can manage to grab that one as well, that's brilliant stuff from Solotov there to kick things off for the round, really opening up that split side.
Yeah, for now, I imagine what we're looking towards in this round. As I mentioned, you have to see a big tower push come through, or it's going to be a dining side here. Get control of dining and look to execute inside a kitchen. For any of those things to happen, though, what you have to start thinking about is being mindful of that top floor. Kids becomes a really good defensive position for defenders to hold on to and essentially deny you from above. Not so much playing inside of the site, though often you will see 1 or 2 players inside of there as well. That's what you're looking at here. And Leakifak at least is starting a bit of work on that side of things. Shaiko crouch walking his way through the top floor to try and get rid of Soldier, who's got himself holed up.
Leakifak's just going to be opening up that angle into the zones, make sure that he can't be peeked from that side. Does go in and looks to take a fight vertically, but getting hit with the F-Nat as well. A little bit too much pressure and gets forced out of there. Solotov with the goo mine in, but will be taken out. Mr. Ryder, PSG Talon finding kill after kill, Des. They might just be about to hold on to that third choice site against BDS.
You know what? I'm glad that Fabian on the Talon team anymore, because he would be insufferable if they keep on playing like this, Tim. Potentially on course here to be 3-1 up, and that will be a shock for many. BDS included, but they're really putting up some numbers here and doing some work. Yes, top floor has now been lost. Soldier has dropped away, but the damage has been done. You've got rid of a couple of kills. You could not be asking for much more than that.
No, absolutely not. It's, you know, now get yourself out of there, reposition, find yourself a stronger spot to hold from. It's not the end of the world giving up the vertical when you're 3 versus 5, because they can just start playing angles into sight, creating crossfires. Think about a flank later in the round. It's too soon yet, really, to be doing that. They don't want to be giving lives away at this point, but just get to a position where BDS don't really have a choice but to drop and get aggressive, and then maybe try and send somebody back upstairs again.
That's it. At least for now, just holding on and waiting to see what BDS's next move is. And it's the right play. It's the discipline that's being shown here that's really critical. You have no reason to go out there and go seeking kills or go swinging or get too aggressive. BDS are the ones who have got to make the play, and make the play. They shout in. Breeday has dropped in. That smoke not hitting him, narrowly just missing his backside there. And because they've got this top floor control, it's sort of the reverse. We mentioned about defending the site from above. It's the same in a post plan, but Shaiko's been taken down by Ryder. He don't care who it is. He'll beam them all at this point. Tim, a 2v4 in the post plan.
BDS might just hold on to this though. There's 2 versus 3 as Jesus manages to find one, and he's keeping a hold of that vertical. The fight is
Visa,
not.
mate.
Misa again finds him, knows where the last one is, but Breeder somehow hits him with a turn and burn. However, However, the final kill comes in from Soldier, who'd been able to retake that vertical. PSG Talon are rocking BDS right now.
Oh dear, oh dear.
They've got them rattled, Des. They're in their heads, look at it.
I mean, after last round, you had Leaky Fact sat there shaking his head just like, I can't believe this. Like, how is this happening? How are they going to be feeling now? Quite understandably, a quick tech pause. It's a tactical pause, I thought, for a second, but no, technical pause coming in. So tactical would have been about right at this point, I think, to be honest with you, Tim, because BDS are really being given something by the South Korean side. And not at all to forget, you know, many look at South Korea as a very, dare I say, a meme region, like it's not quite going to be able to be competitive. And obviously, it's a big statement of intent from PSG Talon to have Fabian over there, to be bringing them up to that global standard that we come to expect of so many teams around the world. But they're putting up a show here. That game against E1 yesterday might have been messy, but against BDS, they got out the right side of the bed today.
I mean, obviously, you know, we know Fabian pretty well. You know, we know three-time world champions.
Yeah, no big deal.
But
do you know his actual real name is just Fabian? Just because you know that one.
I would say just after that round, we saw him walking behind, and from his face, I look and I think, he's pretty satisfied with this so far. He's very happy with how the team are performing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about the score.
I've seen him with his post-it notes throughout most of these, to be fair. He hasn't got a book, it's post-it notes.
Yeah. It's not just about the scoreboard. You can see it on Fabian's face that he's very happy with the performance of the boys at this point. You know, and they
Precious walked in the booth, looked at the score and was like, oh?
Gave us the old British nod. If you're from Britain, you'll know the one.
The nod.
Like, looked at him, was like,
the gentle downward nod.
Yeah, like, okay.
See, so I had a debate about this once. It's like, how do you know when to do the uplift, like gentle nod, like tipped upwards, or downwards? Which one do you do to who?
So downward nod would be somebody you don't know, but
because it's more respectful.
It's recognition, like hello. Little downwards nod. Upwards nod is like that's a bit of an inside one. It's like for your mates. It's like, you know.
Would you uplift me?
No.
No.
Oh, dearie me. Des, you ask for it day after day at these events. Honestly, a little behind the scenes for everybody.
Makeup artists are just like, what
there
is
you
this?
go.
Yeah.
So Des has absolutely terrorised me in makeup for the last couple of days. Like,
hang on, every event you make the joke about me needing cement on my face.
Because you take longer than me in makeup and I'm nearly 10 years older.
I've got hair to do.
Give it a rest, man. So do I. This doesn't just happen.
I nearly said F off then. I'll start with the more broadcast safe one. Piss off.
But Des has rinsed me in makeup for the last couple of days, so much so that our makeup artists, who've been absolutely wonderful this event, I must say, they said this morning, do you two not like each other?
Bless them. Leanne especially is fresh here today. She had the experience this morning, bless her.
No, you mean she was here earlier in the...
Oh, I didn't see her.
Well.
No, I didn't see her. She's haven't met me before, that's the problem.
New to you. New
to me. And surely now new in round 5. BDS after a technical pause will that give a bit of time to reflect and consider what needs to change, because the answer is an awful lot. And I say an awful lot, maybe that's harsh. They've been getting the plant down. The problem is PSG have been winning quite consistently. The problem is 2 rounds. Yeah, 2 rounds we've seen it go down. And 2 rounds.
9-2.
2 rounds. I'll tell you what, we're shooting my fantasy team right now. Christ on a bike. But again, 2 times they've got the plant down. So it's not like they're playing bad here, BDS. They're getting themselves in good positions. They're just not managing to close out rounds. And that's a real good, speak towards the volumes of the play coming out of PSG Talon and what they can achieve here.
Look, part of the problem for PSG Talon at the minute, I don't want to keep saying problems. They're performing really well. But we've seen them on Oregon already, and they struggled on the attack. They need to get rounds on this half if they want any chance of getting this one. They need to get rounds on this half on the defence, and they're doing that. They're doing it fantastically well. It is going to be a different ball game in the second half, I would expect, when they get onto the attack. That's going to be much more difficult for them. If they can grab at least one more here, though, they give themselves a real opportunity.
Defense is online.
Well, so things carry on for these last 2 minutes, and at least to start things out, as I've already mentioned, BDS aren't the kind to go a little bit too crazy. They're not really
they're not going to panic.
They're not really a rush team when I think about them either. They'll play things generally slow and composed, have drones in front of their entries, for example, make sure all the utility work has been done first. That hasn't really changed here. Still taking things nice and slow. So for now, PSG Talon just kind of digging their feet in, not being exposed to a butt from below like we saw last time around. It was Roy Boy who was the unfortunate benefactor of the skeleton key to the nuts, is all I can really describe it as. So for now, they hold on firm. Half the round now elapsed. And again, the drone play, I'll say it, PSG Talon doing a very good job of slow chewing away at that. A couple of rounds ago, there were only 2 left at BDS when it came around to the execute in the basement. Here, they've already gone through half.
I keep saying it. BDS versus Furia. BDS here against Talon. We've seen a number of occasions where they've gone into areas not knowing exactly what was ahead of them or being mistimed. And that is something that BDS, I think, definitely need to look at going forward. They need to make sure that they're getting the most out of those drones, playing the intel game, using that economy effectively. For the time being, though, Leakyfact is just going to keep himself on that game.
I mean, look.
He's cutting sight in half at the minute. Breeder's in and planting. And I'm not sure PSG Talon can do anything about this because Leakyfact's going to hold it. Perfect cover. 2 kills come in, 3 versus 3, but the diffuser is down and BDS can just try and hold on now. They've removed a lot of the utility that PSG could play from behind, but Misa is still on the board.
Because, you know, there's a player up in Highway, right? No, it's just him by himself. I'll tell you what, if he gets this kill off here, this could be absolutely nuclear, but no, Solotov's not going to give him anything in this round. It looks like finally Lightning might strike twice, but maybe not 3 times here. There will not be into the post-plant 1 unless Roy Boy and Soldier can do something incredibly special. And even that feels like a bit of a challenge. Swung on, Solotov's having an absolute field day here, Tim. He'll get the final 2 as well and close things out. Sick and tired of seeing these rounds fall away from them. BDS finally get on the board again.
Yeah, that was a lot better from BDS. Very quickly into sight. Having Leakyfact just cut the sight in half like that, he's got the cover on Breeder. They recognise that there's no, availability really at top white for PSG Talon to be able to fight through and to stop that plant going down. It's just a real opportunity spot from BDS. There's a little bit of space here. Let's just go in and use it. And it goes to show in Siege, you don't always, a lot of teams will often fail on an attack because they're trying to do too much. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. If the space is there and you can hold the cover and you're confident on that, keep it simple. And that's exactly what BDS did there. Really good stuff. So much so, Fabian decides it's time for tactical.
Which kind of surprises me going into round 6. I thought you'd save that for the attacking side. That will be more of a battle given how they played attacks over yesterday. Really, on Bank they did great, but the prior game, definitely less so. But clearly feels they can get a 4-2 out of this one. I wouldn't put my name to this entirely, by the way, but I'm pretty sure they reinforced off the single wall from games to top white there, which is why Breeder said, oh, a plant spot,
yeah,
I'll go for that. And as we know, that is very commonly not reinforced off for that exact reason.
That's why I said, they spotted the fact that there was no chance for them to be able to fight from top white to stop that plant going down. So all that he had to do, Leakyfact, was hold towards Attic because they had Solotov in Trophy, so they knew that nothing could come from Trophy. Literally, the only place that plant could be pushed from would be below with a nitro.
That's it. And they did try that.
Attic door.
They were just late to the party with the nitro, unfortunately.
They could have done it from Attic door, but that's what Leakyfact was covering, and he got the kill there when they did try to swing it.
And I'm not sure if they just realised too late the plant was going down, because I actually think that whole idea of that being reinforced off was to bait that plant going down there so they could see for it from below. But as mentioned, just a little bit too late to the party. And again, I'll also give PSG full credit. This is not something I normally would have seen out of Korean teams, but the fact that you've got 2 or 3 players all looking to converge onto Solotov at once and force him into, again, this attention split where you can only take 1 gunfight at a time, just half a second off the beat there and they pay the price for it. But these are the kind of fine margins that we're playing with here. Someone's a couple of seconds late to a C4, someone's half a second late to a gunfight. That's what will cost the round, but that is the price to pay to play against big teams like BDS, like Furia, like M80 earlier. Exactly the same, right? They were lethal to play against. You want to be in the top 8, you've got to play at that standard. But I am very impressed with what I've seen so far from PSG. Very impressed.
Honestly, they've stood up to the challenge of BDS very, very well. As we said, coming in, there is that potential to come in and think, oh, God, we're against BDS here, we're against Shaq, or we're against these big players. And you have to come in almost with a lack of respect, really. You've just got to come in and think we're against player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, player 5. Doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter what the names are, doesn't matter what team they are. We're going in to play our game, we're going to win it. And PSG Talon have very much had that kind of attitude. They're not scared to go for the fights. They're not scared, to make those challenges, to try and hold on to their positions. And it's shown. It's been really good from them so far. Really impressive stuff. As I said, I think it's still going to be a tough second half for them when BDS get on the defence. But overall, even, win or lose, there's a lot they can take away from this game.
Soldier's managed to get himself safely back down on towards site. Always that danger that your green corridor is being held, and as soon as you rotate down from top big tower straight down to basement, you're going to find yourself caught out on the way through. It's why normally you'll see players poking their head halfway up the stairs to get rid of a drone, but then immediately coming back down to site without having to go all the way from top of big tower down into the basement. Now, Shoko's been here before. Last time around, he had the clash on one side and the shotgun on the other. No need for that as such, as Royboy was sat a little bit further back. I think he was expecting like a window push from above, so he was tucked in right at the back. But they get the kill they need, which now means this freezer and security side is locked up from BDS.
Well, PSG Talon have read into what BDS have done the last couple of times they've attacked, and it's spearheaded from freezer. So now, right, the Clash can go and stand in freezer, get more aggressive than last time, and really prevent them getting down there. And they've done a good job of it.
Though. Like, the thing is, whoever's above him, I think it's Leakifak on the Zofia, has got to sit there and watch this the whole time. Like, otherwise, he's now free to move away. So BDS at some point have to step away and make an attack happen from elsewhere. Royboy gets freed up, can drop back down towards freezer and get back onto site here. It's been a great hold, and now the Clash has come pillar. Great rotation of players from PSG.
And I wonder how much of this has come from Fabian in that tactical timeout to say, look, we're gonna go down to basement again, and BDS have pushed freezer hard every time, so this is what we're gonna do. Get up to the top of stairs and get aggressive. And it's worked out for them. Users does pick up JLT, but Soldier is there with one of his own. Breeder gone and the diffuser down, so that's going to create a little bit of a problem for BDS with 20 seconds left to go. Royboy takes the vertical and shuts users down as he tries to move through to pillar, and now this Clash gets more and more powerful as he's just going to waste more and more time. 5 seconds left to go. Very little that BDS can do here.
They can't find the last either. PSG are going to hold it out. And you know what? They might not have won many of the gunfights when it came down to it, but the rotation of players was brilliant. The hold inside of top freezer, inside of security for a start, wasted so much time. But then to realize BDS have peeled away and rotate their Clash up to pillar, to then cause issues there, also brilliant. And then to waste further time with the rotation coming out from Royboy, getting the kill onto the Capitale once all of BDS had committed towards attacking into the basement. Just really great, dare I say, like advanced level movement of players there. And it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but a lot of players, again, will miss-time things. They'll miss these little subtle cues. But PSG have honestly just outplayed BDS there from start to finish without really having to win many gunfights.
And we've just seen it again there, Des. The entry kill. Shaiko runs into security, and it looked a lot to me like he didn't know that Royboy was there and that he was going to be challenged, because otherwise you don't sprint into security. You come in slowly, you pre-fire around.
I think he was so nervous about the Clash behind him that he had to go quick.
There was problems, but again,
there's always been a shotgun there as well.
There's always been a reason why BDS seem to be filtering into positions where they're unaware or unready for gunfights, and it is causing them a problem. It is losing them rounds. That much is for sure. If I was looking to play against BDS, I'd be playing a big intel denial game. I'd be bringing the Mozzie, the Mute. I'd be taking away the Soulless. I'd be taking away every drone that I could against them, because they are really suffering when they don't have that information to use, and it is showing time after time. So PSG Talon get themselves an almost dream start, really. A 4-2 half on the defense. It's the minimum that they needed and exactly what they got. Great stuff for them. The big question comes now, though. Round 7, they go on to the attack. They really struggled. They only got 1 round on the attack the other day against Bleed on Oregon, and it's going to be a big ask for them now.
It's a very similar attack to what we saw actually in our last game earlier on, if you recall. Admittedly, it didn't go out too well for ITB, but they tried this 4-smoke setup with the Blitz, with the Glaz. The Sense a bit of a different one, but the Thatcher also returns as a similar one. Now, there's a small mistake being shown as a wonderful example. No idea that the man's there, but they are trying to chase him down here, and they know about this too. A drop away, but straight into the waiting arms of Misa. A mistake immediately corrected elsewhere.
That was actually really nice from PSG Talon. Just great team play, sending the Blitz. This is, you know, the sort of, I won't say lesser known use of the Blitz, but it's about bullying. It's about forcing players out of positions. It's not always about getting up in their faces and flashing them and getting the kill. It's about clearance, creating space, and they've done it beautifully there with Misa underneath. 11-4, still going really well in the game, and PSG Talon, they're 4 versus 4. They've got map control. They can start thinking about side.
Alrighty, onwards we march. Still recoverable, I think. I mean, losing a Grim is a bit of a stinger, as we know, is excellent for an execute, but far from the key part of this lineup, as I spoke about earlier. Really looking in towards the Bandit, in towards the Glads, and definitely the Sens as part of this lineup as well. A lot of smokes, a lot of light screens they can play behind, and really here, Misa just begging. Oh, a shot straight through, of course, against the ward, and you're not going to have much joy. Soltov hitting double digits on the kills here as well, and really being, I dare I say, the saving grace so far for his team.
To be honest, even without the warding, you're kind of asking for a little, you know, a couple of bullets to come through that smoke there, because you know that there's a good chance there's going to be a glass that stood inside of it. So first nade is going to be caught out by the Woman Magnet. Need to be careful that they don't lose the second there. They really want to, in fact, no, it's already been used. So Ryder not going to be able to clear out that shield. It's not looking good for PSG Talon on this attack.
No way of opening the hatch either. I guess that was the main stinging part of losing out on the Grim earlier on. It's now kind of paying the price of that. They've got to sort of just force their way in, down the more standard routes. There's no hatch support as well, which is going to make this rough. Smoke coming out, but a C4 comes out in response. He's just going to find his man, and BDS not looking troubled at all, Tim. It's always the problem when the team does well in that first half. 2 halves to a game of Siege. Now you're seeing BDS really start to wake up, at least in this first defensive round.
Yeah, I mean, we expected them to come out and look a lot more comfortable on the defensive things. Ryder does manage to pick up users, but likely to be a meaningless sort of exit frag, really, which is exactly what it turns out to be. BDS taking that first one, 4-3 now on the score. But look at this. PSG Talon, as a minimum, as an absolute minimum, will have a 7-4 loss here, even if it's a loss, which it might not be yet. I'm not writing them off, but as an absolute minimum, it's going to be 7-4. And how many people coming in here will have said that this result would be a BDS win 7-4, 7-5? People expected more from BDS.
We were saying 7-3, 7-4 because they're starting the defensive side, but to go 4-2 already, I think is a pretty big achievement, especially in the fashion they did as well.
If they can grab one attack on the, you know, they grab an attack on the third choice side, and then you're looking at a 7-5 or even an overtime. You know, you have to say that PSG Talon are exceeding expectations here, and it's fantastic to see, and they deserve it because they are winning fights. They are taking advantage of gaps that BDS are leaving. It's been good stuff from them so far.
It's how you can build into this half, though. This is why I was a little bit worried when I saw the, you know, post-round 5 timeout coming in from Fabian for PSG Talon. If things go horribly wrong in these first couple of rounds, and admittedly that first round, I had a couple of high moments, like Misa and Kitchen to catch the drop was fantastic, but the free kill that was collected onto Royboy, he just marched his way in towards Concrete, seemingly unaware that he was going to get pushed from Attic. That kind of goes to show. And I don't know if that's sort of just player expectation here, that normally you'll see both of those walls in towards Attic being reinforced off, so Kids is fully locked down there, and the only real way out is through that hatch or in through the doorway into the room itself. But either way, it was just a little bit lax there. And as I've already mentioned, if you want to be a top team at a major like this, those are the kind of mistakes that you can't really be affording to make. Yes, corrected. Yes, it's not the end of the world, but it will start to make a difference.
Royboy just going to be opening up that main entrance there, prevent any rotation across, or at least deter it. Players not wanting to get too aggressive maybe on the defense and go for that late Armory Stairs flank if they have to go across that big open double doorway. Soldier is on the Deimos. I like to see how much use is got out of that operator this time around. We know how valuable he is, of course, but given that it's the top floor site, I'm not sure how much of a roam there will be underneath. There's a couple of players down there at the minute, one in security, but you don't really need a Deimos scan to tell you that there's going to be a player in security. Other than that, Leakafak is also down in classroom, so could well be forced back, but he knows there's someone here. He's going to go. No, he's looked the wrong way. He's going to take a ton of damage. Nitro goes out, surely not. Leakafak has to be dead here, and Royboy is going to cut him down.
If Royboy got away with that kill, that would have been absolutely criminal. Like, if Royboy died there and Leakafak got the kill, that would have been criminal. Glad that he got it, but I couldn't lie. Heart in throat moment there. Worried that it was going to go completely wrong. Still, could have been far worse to find him a C4 off the board. Certainly not going to complain. Still 2 more to deal with, though, in Shaiko and Breede's back pocket.
Yeah, the next job really is taking Breede out of this position, but it's going to be difficult to do. They need to push him from 2 sides at once, really, but he's got his reinforcements on one side. All they can really do is go in through the single door. They're going into a shotgun, so it's going to be a difficult one. It's either that or PSG Talon just relocate and push from the other side, but Ryder manages to find Solotov. The more space that they can create on site, the bigger problem Breede has here, because he can't necessarily keep himself in that position then.
Breede's in a tough spot here as well, admittedly, because you know that they've just pushed up white stairs and got rid of one of your players. That's when you're meant to react. So he's a little bit late to the party in a sense here. He's got to make a move at some point, and now that engagements are going on, he may well do, but I think behind JLT, yes, someone else is waiting, and in behind as well. A flawless round comes out for PSG Talon. And I can't believe that Ryder has just walked straight into security door and deleted pre-day. What on earth has happened there? I think he's ran away from the Grim as it's come through. The bees have started singing. He's like, cool, I took myself away. And then has immediately been pushed. So again, the level of team play coming out has been beautiful. And Flashbang's also being comboed at the same time. Good bit of team play there where you've got 2 or 3 players all working together to make sure that he does not have an impact in the round.
PSG Talon are playing at 110% here. They're getting everything right, and they're winning gunfights, they're creating space, and honestly, they have got BDS thinking about this.
This is so not BDS, by the way, this kind of play.
This is what I was going to say. BDS need to cut this sort of stuff out. Just, you know, you don't want Leaky Fight running out a main door, looking for somebody who may or may not be on master balcony and losing his life. They are getting punished by PSG Talon for every small mistake they make. And PSG Talon are setting up brilliantly here. They've got themselves that first attack that they needed. One more guarantees them overtime. Honestly, at this point, Des, get me on the PSG Talon train. My mind has been changed. There is a world where they win this.
You're like a pendulum, you are.
Game. Not necessarily the major, the game, though.
Just the pendulum of you, mate. For this game, you were like, there is no way in hell.
Honestly, I'll hold my hands up. You know me, I'll say, I'm big enough to say when I was wrong. BDS, I thought we're going to come in here and run over PSG Talon. I really did think it was going to be a tough day for them.
And I think 80% of the audience are with you as well. I imagine many more that didn't vote felt exactly the same. And probably most people here at the major expected it too.
2 things have happened. BDS have not turned up in the same way that we've seen them perform over the last few weeks. But I'm not putting it all on that. PSG Talon have turned up. They're going in there and they're winning head-to-heads. They're winning 50-50s. They're playing with confidence. It's brilliant to see. I love it.
Shining bright.
You know I love a surprise. I love to be proven wrong.
When everything follows expectations, it's a bit dull.
It is. Misa again! Getting the entry onto Solotov. Will somebody stop him?
Exactly what I said earlier. BDS aren't the kind of team that normally make these silly plays or these characteristic mistakes here. This is not a thing. You know that White Window is a threat. You've seen that angle a million times. I don't know if he's taken the challenge back onto Misa because Misa took no damage there. But that's a freebie with no response from the other side. The team play from BDS is crumbling before our very eyes, Tim.
It does feel like a bit of a mental game for BDS. Yeah. It feels like, I said it earlier that they were rattled, and that's exactly what it looks like right now. They're playing, they're almost playing scared. They're trying to snatch at chances like that leaker back out of main door. It's just trying to grab something. We've got to force something, and you can't always force a game of Siege.
Let me put a situation before you. BDS lose this game and go into tomorrow. Yesterday we were all saying, okay, whoever BDS face tomorrow, I really feel for them. At the moment, if PSG win this one, that's suddenly upside down. Imagine coming into knowing you're playing against a BDS that's just lost to PSG Talon. You probably then start fancying your chances to bring them down, to be honest with you. Immediately there's 1 kill, but again, an answer back from the other side. What on earth has Fabian been feeding these guys? Brine hits the deck as well. Leakerback at least recovers 1, and they should be able to get a 2v1 onto the Monty here. He's properly pinned in this corner, Tim, and my God, is he in trouble? If he gets away with anything here, it's going to be absolutely magic. Misa with it all to do. If anyone can, it's going to be him.
Surely the PSG Talon just didn't control the flanks well enough there. Leaker Fact really hurt them with that push up Armory stairs. They're both just going to hold their positions now.
He knows.
He's given away though. Misa knows, surely. That's the kill that he needed to find. Leaker Fact hits the deck, keeps himself alive.
I was going to say, he's got a couple of bees, yeah.
30 seconds left to go.
He knows as well, he gets, oh my God, he's got the close one. The last one, inside of the... Way! What on earth have these guys had for breakfast today?
I do not believe what I am seeing here. PSG Talon just refusing round after round to be beaten. BDS are broken, Des. They are broken by the spirit of the team on the other side. Misa digging in a 1v2. A 1v2. And he closes it out. Unbelievable stuff from PSG Talon. We're witnessing something special here in the Swiss stage.
Wow.
Now, surely for Fabian, it's about managing the expectation, the energy, and the excitement in the team.
Job's not done.
You can't let them get too pumped up here. They can't feel like they've already won it.
The thing is, Tim, that was the critical round that we so often speak about. When you currently set at 5-3, that next round is so pivotal. You either establish a 3-round lead or it's 5-4 advantage to the other side as they start to bring it back. That 1v2 will be a defining moment of this tournament if PSG go on to win this game.
Honestly,
absolutely bonkers.
I think at the end of this game,
mate,
we've just got to watch and enjoy this again. It's the second onto Users, absolutely beautiful.
I mean, Users has been like stand out as a player as well. Like, we were talking to a few players yesterday and they're saying Users are arguably best player in the world right now. He's just been sat down by Misa in a 1v2.
Honestly, I think if PSG Talon check the pockets at the end of this game, they're going to have the wallet, keys, BDS, phone. It's all going to be there.
This is unbelievable.
You love to see it, Des. These are the stories that the majors are made of. This is what our esport is built on. This is what we turn up for every day and get excited over. Yes, we come in here. Yes, we have expectations. Yes, there are favourites. But you can guarantee it in every group stage, in every Swiss stage, in every final stage, there will always be upsets. And those are the real standout moments. And PSG Talon right now are providing some of the standout moments of this tournament.
They are him.
Make no mistake about it. These are going to be clips, they're going to be moments that are spoken about throughout this tournament and afterwards for a long time.
They are him. That's all I can say to that, Tim. They are him. And looking at the lineup here, like they're full sent in on this Glaz again. Like we saw this lineup earlier. It didn't really come out to the best effect, but you've got Sense light screens, you've got Capital smokes, you've got 4 smoke nades as well. Yeah, why not put Misa at the very heart of that setup too?
They've got the Thatcher. I'm wondering, I don't know. I'm wondering
Warden,
if they're going to play that above where the Warden is located. Just try and disable those glasses before the glass goes in. It's pretty advanced. It takes a lot of coordination. You're going to have your glass ready to go at the same time. But if they can pull it off, if that is the plan, it could be a big one.
Oh, I believe that was Beast Coast going up 6-4 against FaZe, I want to say. Of course, 2 games at the same time. It's all going absolutely nuclear. Wow. The time of upsets in these 2 best of ones at the moment, it feels like. But Tim, again,
going to have an elimination match, Des.
Keep your eye on Misa here as well, because again, he's been popping off this game. He's at the centerpiece. He's the heart of this composition. Without the glass popping off, it doesn't really give you much. So everything is on him. Keep an eye on that. Look at where Soldier charges through. Look at where all the utility goes down. The best part is that they mess up the first execute, Tim, and they've got 2 or 3 more in back pocket with the number of light screens and smokes they've got on side.
Misa is in position now at rear stage stairs. We're just waiting. It's the calm before the storm here. BDS.
So much is on Solotov here. So much is on him.
BDS have to hold on. We're going to see all that utility dumped in. Solotov has not been impacted by any MP that's gone off there, so his glasses still should be working.
He can't put them on, no.
No, he can't put them on, so that's going to give the opportunity. Soldier goes in and finds Shaiko. Leakifag super low health. PSG Talon could really be doing this, Des. It might really be happening. Leakifag just manages to get his man. He is going to be downed effectively now. 3 versus 3. 45 seconds left to go.
And like mentioned, Tim, they've still got enough to play with. They've got both smokes for Capital. They've got another smoke for Misa. They've got 2 light screens. They can do this again. And sure enough, that's exactly what they're going to go for. Diffuser is down. Solotov may have just got the kill that saves his team here as now all that blue pressure disappears and they can play around Pillar a bit more freely. Misa's hit the deck. Ryder's got to do it all in 20 seconds. And I don't really feel like that one's going to happen. We've got find himself 1, 2 still left here. Brede and Uses to bring down, but Brede's going to close it out. They take round 10 and we carry on for another one, Tim.
Boy, oh boy. What a game we are witnessing here. I think, you know, the plan that I spoke about at the beginning, I think that's what happened. The Warden got caught. Solotov with the EMP wasn't able to use the glasses immediately. That was the opportunity for PSG Talon, Des. That was their chance. And Leakifag, he was able to break that. It was smart play, low health, kept prone, waited for his moment. Good trigger discipline to keep BDS fighting in that one. When the second attempt came through, you could see As soon as the Warden's glasses were activated, it was over. Solotov just walked around freely and got kill after kill. Here it is as he gets the one onto rear stage stairs. It was pretty easy for them from that point then. Breeder managing to pick up the last with the shotgun, but PSG Talon, it was a good attempt again. It was a good understanding of what went wrong last time and just adapting a little bit to change things up and try and close it out. They've got 2 more chances, there's 2 more chances to find that third attack.
And look at where they go, Tim. They go to the site that PSG Talon have already won twice in this attacking half. It's Kid Storms on the top floor. If they win this one, they're then going to go to the off-site, which we'll be seeing for the first time. So for BDS, Tim, there is 2 rounds of hell waiting for them here, and I'm sure PSG at this point just being willed to hold on for a couple more and get this over the finish line before overtime strikes. But even like you say, Tim, this goes to overtime, BDS take it in the end. Still one of the matches of the tournament for me.
There's a timeline here, Des, where on day 3 out of 4 of the Swiss stage, both BDS and FaZe could be in elimination games.
Imagine.
2 of the absolute favourites coming into this tournament could well find themselves having to play multiple best of 3 elimination games to survive. It is just, if you'd have told me that was the expectation this morning, I'd have laughed. I'd have said maybe one of them, but surely not both. There's a lot of Siege to play before that happens.
Esports continue to surprise.
There's a lot to play before that happens. PSG Talon are going to continue trying to play spoiler here. This time, it's going to be focused around that Monty again. Soldier bringing along the shield. They're going to try to brute force their way into sight.
They did count on that Misa 1v2 last time around, admitted that was the big difference for them. So I think here with the Soldier on side, with the Monty on side for Soldier, it was more the information gain that he was providing as well, but the pressure that he also put inside of Pit really kind of split up these BDS players. It was just that Misa was a little bit late to the party to try and capitalize on that. Of course, converts to 1v2, but I still like that they're sticking with this and trying to make it work, because then the onus comes onto the other side of BDS to be able to find an answer. There's no Legion here to help out, for example. There's a few C4s they've got in back pocket, no impacts. Soldier could be pretty deadly here if those C4s aren't sent his way.
Solotov, I think, has kept himself off the radar all the way down in basement. They were hurt by a flank last time. Leakefak up Armory stairs. They have to make sure that doesn't happen again. PSG Talon, you got to learn on your feet. You got to learn along the way here, and don't allow Solotov to be able to bully you and to be able to get that backstab off. That could undo the round. Solotov has found his way up to the top of Laundry stairs. There's nobody on the Armory side to do anything with yet, but if he can work his way through Zulu and get to White, it'll be a problem. Another big problem is the fact that the Monty is down. The spearhead of the push is gone as Shaiko manages to find a headshot.
I'm not quite sure what he was looking for there, if he was trying to get rid of a mute jammer on the door or something, but has paid the price for it. And Solotov is now stung underneath, goes to sprint up right, not realizing there was a 3rd player here. Fair play. Why would you expect 3 players to be on White? It's still a kill back on the other side, but without that Monty now, no Grim left in back pocket either. They're just going to make this happen to with what they've got.
I still think Solotov needs to be a bit more careful in that situation rather than sprinting onto White stairs. 3v2 becomes a 1v2 as Leakefak picks up the final kill onto JLT, and BDS, they take us to a guaranteed 12. It's 6-5. PSG Talon, you've only got one more chance, and this is where they're going to start to feel the pressure, Des. You feel like PSG Talon, whilst they've been ahead, they've been playing with fun, they've been playing with confidence, as they should be, but now that they've been reined in a little bit and they've got BDS breathing down their necks, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get that final round.
It's the offside though, Tim, like I say, the great unknown. We haven't seen it yet in this half, and this is where things can get real spicy. It's going to be a meeting defense coming out, and I just want to see PSG Talon come up with something utterly wild here that's going to catch BDS off guard. Of course, BDS to do all they can to try and stop that being the outcome of this game. They've got a chance to send us into overtime. It's crazy to think they can't just win it outright. They have to do it in overtime if it's going to happen at all. So really all eyes, as they have done for the last few rounds, fall onto PSG Talon and what they can do in this final round of regulation.
meeting it is going to be then. Attic is opened up, so that should tell us that somebody is likely to be playing up above. Definitely something PSG Talon need to deal with. You cannot plant on the stage unless you do something about that player in Attic, because otherwise they're just going to completely shut you down from the hatch. So that wants to be step number 1 for PSG Talon, unless they try to play into kitchen. But even then, somebody in kids' dorms can make that very difficult. So I really do want to see some attention towards that top floor from them straight away.
All right. No silly mistakes in the early round is probably point number 1 for PSG Talon. Think about a couple of times when we've had players, you know, Roy Boy, dare I say, being the great example, charging into concrete upstairs and being picked off seemingly completely unawares. There will very likely be roamers up on that top floor. In fact, we can see a couple of them. So dealing with them is going to be a big point of this. They're not attacking in through big tower. It's going to be a dining side take for the most part. So keep an eye out here. Who's playing upstairs in kids? How are they cleared out by the members of PSG Talon? And arguably, Tim, more important, how fast can they clear them out?
Yeah, that's the thing. Now BDS can play to burn a bit of time. They can try and hold them back from those fights using the goo mines, for example. There's the EDDs of Capcan that are around there that are going to slow things down for PSG Talon as well, having to make sure that they're clear of those traps before they go in everywhere. But they're moving pretty well at the minute.
They are, and also making sure they're safe as they move on through, right? You've seen the air jabs going down, just making sure no one can pull off a nasty flank as this round goes by, really securing this small tower side of the map. But like I've mentioned, top floor needs to be a thing. And sure enough, you've got Roy Boy and JLT pushing in up here. Believe we have Misa also coming across to join from the other side. So they do want this top floor cleared out first.
Just spotting a couple of those EDDs.
Don't make the same mistake as last
time. Very
time.
Careful here, as you say. That was the problem. Dropping the shield and Shaiko taking him down. And you've got the Fenrir inside of kids' dorms there. Users. He's got
help,
multiple
really.
angles to work from. He does. It just needs somebody to go and challenge.
Yeah.
You know, maybe go on kids' dorms window and just give you
he's gone through, is it?
He's just tanked it instead.
I think tanked some of it. I think one got shot off and he had to tank the other on the way through, but that's exactly what he's done. The verticals might work against him too, so also the kind of reverse defense from downstairs coming in here. A lot coming out from BDS, but that means now the vertical work can start getting done. Soldier can abandon top floor now. They've got the control that they need. They force the kids player to drop through. There is no Oryx. He can't hop back up again. So they've got what they need here. Another big key part secured. Now it's setting up for this execute.
A lot of the EDDs have been dealt with at this point. 45 seconds left to go. They've got the Monty on kitchen door. They're kind of ready to go here at PSG Talon. They've got the verticals. It's just about pushing in now and trying to get that diffuser down, hoping that you've got everything covered. The Gooman is not going to be helpful. Shaiko is able to drop the diffuser and the Monty. It's another big play from that man when BDS need it most. Misa looks to push in from the dine insider side, trying to find anything, but the Toxic Babe canisters are keeping them at bay, Des.
Just all the cams as well, doing a bit of work to help out. It's also a full white screen. I was going to say, surely he dies here. Flank attempt comes on through. Shaiko's in with the C4 as well. They've got the finish off they need, and now BDS are inside a kitchen, holding on for dear life, and surely nothing comes off the back of this one. Tim, it feels like it might require a few more rounds for this one, because we are going to overtime.
BDS have fought hard to get themselves back into this one. They've had to dig deep, and they've managed to get themselves an opportunity at 3 extra rounds. The big question now is who starts defense and who starts attack, because there has been an advantage towards the defense so far on this Oregon. 4-2 either way. If Talon get it, it could be an advantage, but I can tell you now, it's BDS on the defense.
3 rounds in a row. Pretty spectacular overall, and yeah, BDS on defense is probably what's going to make Talon a little bit worried here. Kind of feels like BDS have figured things out since their timeout now. They've got a bit of a read on Talon and feel like they're managing them much more comfortably. We've seen that in several games so far, actually, at the Major. Even hearing teams talk about it in the game afterwards. It took us a few rounds to figure out what they were doing. We had a little pause. We went into it and really cracked things from there. ITB versus SSG being a great example. You know, even had Kino in the last game saying, oh, we've scrimmed them a bunch. We know what they're going to do here. We just came in knowing what was going to come at us. And I feel like it took BDS a bit of time to really learn what was going to come out of PSG Talon. But now that they've cracked it, this is where I do start to worry for the Korean side, that maybe their number's up.
10 seconds left.
It's certainly an uphill battle for them now, and it's the first time in this matchup, Des, that they've really experienced that. PSG Talon came out with a strong start. They've been ahead consistently throughout until the very end, where BDS have reeled them back in. And as I said, playing against a BDS side that you're 3 rounds ahead of is very different to playing against a BDS side that's breathing down your neck and you're feeling that pressure, and now you're on the attack. You've not been able to really get it done so far. You're on to basement, the most difficult site on the map as well. It's all stacking up against PSG Talon. Regardless of the outcome, they can be happy with their performance. They can be happy with what they can take away from this game, but you just know, Des, they're going to be looking for it all.
There's always going to be that what if they lose this game, I think, knowing you were 6-3 up and that you had the chance to go into that 2-1 bracket, to be in a spot to qualify tomorrow. They'll be kicking themselves a little bit for sure. But what an outcome it would be if they do manage to get all the way. Sounds like the other game's going absolutely nuclear still as well. They find themselves in overtime at the same time as us, Tim. Both games really going down to the wire.
Solotov drops himself down the hatch then into Kitchen. Ryder just going to catch a goo mine there, so that will at least give BDS a little bit of intel. PSG Talon just feel a little bit stuck at the minute, Des. This roam's done a great job from BDS. They've kind of been chasing shadows around the map, PSG Talon, never really getting a good look at them. Solotov, the only one taking damage, but still manages to get back to site safely. And now PSG Talon have got to start working, but they've only got half of the round to do that, and we've seen them already struggle to get hatches, struggle to clear utility when attacking basement. Now they're going to have to do it with even less time.
Everyone dug in real tight on the side of BDS except for Leakifak, who's currently held out towards Freezer, I think hoping to catch someone on a late backstab. He sure enough sees the red dot, knows that there is a bit of pressure coming up this way, going to smoke it off and likely back himself away here. But by the looks of it, Soldier wants to work his way down Freezer. That's going to be his point of ingress. They see enough there from the hatch too, so they know what's going on. But can they pinch him here? If they can catch Leakifak out, get rid of the smokes, and sure enough, Tim, there's a bit of a rush coming in here. They might just have him from the hatch if he's not too careful. Manages to get himself away, and there's also cover from Solotov. Good bit of team cover, and they've wasted a couple of minutes here. Good stuff from BDS.
Yeah, that was great. PSG Talon a little bit unfortunate there almost. They caught Leakifak out with the smoke canister in his hand, and, you know, had it been any other operator than the Monty, they'd have had an opportunity to get a kill there. But Soldier is going to get onto that freezer door and just make sure that it's difficult for BDS to move around inside a site. Nitro goes out, it's not going to be able to find the kill. Does a good chunk of damage, but no more than that. In come the kills though. Roy Boy, Soldier, Ryder, Plant is going down from JLT. They might just win the attack that they needed, but here comes Jesus. He's now in a 1v3 with a Monty on there, and he's going to be shut down by Soldier. PSG Talon, they're going to have another 2 opportunities to close out this game.
They have just blitzed BDS off there. I don't necessarily mean at pace, but to take 2 minutes to get yourself set up and then to explode, and 3 players on BDS just evaporate. Magical start. This composure of this team, standing up to a Titan on the world stage. Again, not forgetting BDS came in arguably as our top, if not our second place team in terms of rating. Yeah, everyone looked at BDS and Fury as being our top 2. Of course, a couple of others definitely fighting up there as well, but as it stands, PSG showing that this gap is far closer than maybe we come to expect. A beautiful execute coming out. Just wow, 1 more to go. They're on the defense. We're going back to that same site. BDS have got to work some magic on this attack, Tim.
I cannot wait to see Fabian and the PSG Talon boys if they win this. I've got a feeling that they are going to go absolutely wild in the player booth if they manage to get this win against BDS. Make no mistake about it, the reality of this situation is this will be one of, if not the biggest upset that we will see at the Manchester Major. If PSG Talon are able to get the win against BDS here, PSG Talon come in here with a lot of credibility. They won in Korea. They come straight in as a phase 2 team. We know that they've got ability on their side, but they're going up against what we expected to be one of the top teams in the world at the moment, BDS, and they are doing the business on a map that BDS like. They're on Oregon.
And they're taking a leaf out of Talon's book as well. They've now got the Monty on side. Leakifak. Not normally the kind of guy you think of. Oh, shield player, Leakifak. Yeah, of course. No, normally the go-to primary entry for this team. But that's changed around at least a little bit here. And I'm really, I don't know if it's like a degree of nerves coming out for them, but even looking at the history of this site, last 3 times that we've seen Talon defend on it throughout this game, they've won 2 of the 3, Tim. Probably enough in the tank here to be able to get this one over the line unless something really special comes out of the French side. And I think similar to, they're almost copying them like step for step. Tim Leakyfat's pushing on the Monty in through Freezer. We've got a lot of focus on the south side of the map to start things off. They're going to ignore top side and just have one player backstab? Very maybe.
Chaco's going to be working from the bottom of the laundry stairs as well, just looking to pick up anybody potentially in highway who maybe overextends, just gives him too much of an opportunity. He's actually backed off actually now. He's going to be heading back down there in a second, but there's a lot of work being done here by BDS. It's good stuff from them really so far. They've not overcommitted to anything. That's really smart from Soldier. You saw him run away from the hatch there. The reason that he did that was to try and take the sound away, and he managed to keep it off the radar. Breedy had no idea that little bit of movement from Soldier Des was everything. He was able to rip the nitro, and over the sound of the torch, Breedy didn't catch it. Well, he did when it came up through the hatch and took him out.
They've got basically no drones left, Tim. At this point, the only way that hatch gets open is if Solotov manages to get rid of the Electroclaw. I don't know how many drones he's got left. I saw one zooming around Shaiko's spot, but by the looks of it, that hatch is staying electrified, and that is such a crucial point of entry for this site. You always want a chaotic drop, but it's not going to be a thing.
Some Bs have been missed there as well. It looks like BDS are just panicking a little bit. They're at the bottom of stairs. They've not gone on into sight. Mistakes are being made here, and PSG Talon, they're forcing the mistakes out of BDS because they're doing everything right. This is great stuff. They have to deal with this Monty. One way or another, the Nitro won't do it. Shaiko finds JLT. BDS are fighting back, Des.
They've managed to get one through, but with the shield up, you're basically down a gun. It's 2 versus 3 for all intents and purposes. Shaiko, the only one left. Is this their moment? He's onto a 2 in the round. Still going to find 2 more. If anyone can do it, Shaiko can. But Ryder, Royboy, they've had a fab tournament so far, Tim, and this could be their time. Yuzu's may even yet get rescued. The swing comes through, but just about scares him away. Resuscitation complete. 2v2 with 10 seconds to go.
It was a big play to pick him up. Will it prove to pay dividends? Ryder manages to find Shaiko. Ryder manages to find users. And PSG Talon, they take the win against BDS. They've done the unthinkable. And they have upset the French team and sent them down to the elimination games.
I am speechless. Let's say that line one more time in case you missed it. PSG Talon have just beaten Team BDS. PSG Talon have just beaten Team BDS. Not a line I imagine saying today, last year, next year. Not a line I would ever expect to say. Take a bow, boys. Misa especially has gone nuclear, but Ryder, we were bigging him up 20 and 10 yesterday, was the difference in the last round as well. I look back at some of these names. Soldier, back when he played in Talon historically, is a player that fell off massively. Royboy, a sub for the longest time at Damwon Kia. Misa, part of a very middling roster as well. But they've just come against 5 of the best players, not just in Europe, in the world, and got an 8-6.
You can see it on the faces of BDS. They're stunned. They have no idea what has just gone on, what has happened. Every team respects every other team in this competition. But in reality, you have to play with an ego. You have to play with confidence. You have to come in believing that you are the best. And BDS will have believed today that they would get that win against PSG Talon. And they've been stunned, Des. There's no other way of putting it. I love this game.
Well, we need to catch our breath. I think many of us do, but Royboy is standing by for an interview.
Thank you very much, Jensen. Yes, I'm here with Royboy after this huge victory for PSG Talon. Royboy, how's it feel like to beat the best team in Europe?
It's so glad to win the second wins for Major. Then it's the BDS. It's so great.
How did you prepare for this game with Joker and Fabian?
They made for us to make confidence and so many good threat or some things. Yeah, that's good for effective for us. Yeah.
Everybody looked very happy at the end. You're also, I would say, surprised that you won. Were you expecting to take the win today?
Sorry, I'm...
Take your time, no worries. It's all good. Thank you for being with us.
Sorry, what's for the question?
Yeah, so you all looked so happy and so energized through it. did you expect to win today against BDS?
Actually, no. It's so hard to win, but mindset is winning. But when I play the game, I don't know can we win this game.
You leave it into the server and see how it goes there. Roy Boy, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you so much. And for those that are watching, yes, you have just seen it with your own eyes. PSG Talon have just defeated BDS in Phase 2. But we'll toss it to our telestrator where we got our boys in the analyst desk to take through it.
Thank you very much, Milos. Both me and Leo are here on the telestration station on the big screen as we've just seen PSG Talon take down BDS. Now, we're looking at round 9. This was a crucial round for us. It's one that PSG Talon won onto Kid Storm's attack, and there's 2 key decisions in our mind as to how they won. The first one was actually a bad decision from Leaky Fact. If we play the clip, if I can find the play button, there it is.
You.
Sorry? Oh, yeah, there we go. If we can find the clip, Leaky Fact makes a decision here to run out of the main door. He thinks there's somebody on the master balcony, and he gets himself caught in a gunfight. Obviously, you are detected outside. Gets himself punished for that.
And actually something that we pointed out on the desk, if you're the better team, you don't need to overcomplicate things. And that was something that was not necessary at all, and that is actually giving the opening engagement to PSG Talon. Now, how do they transfer that? Now, it's very interesting. They are joining everywhere here, and they understand that there is this setup in server to counter the big window push. Now, you see all these drones, they are here for the flanks. You have them for green, you have them for meeting, you have them for main, and they choose here to have a really nice decision with the Nomad here, Jack.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're already in a 5 versus 4. They see the player insecurity, and they decide it's Ryder on the Nomad, decides to Nomad trap off his exit. So the player insecurity now is stuck. The only thing he can do is hold the double window. What Talon do is they choose to ignore him, they choose to Nomad him off, keep him in that room. That gives them a 5 versus 3 onto the site.
Now they've gotten the kill on the white player, and they only need to focus on the 2 last white here, the 2 last top-down player. Take a look at the crossfire, it's very good. So 1 from white stairs, 1 from the window here to take down this player, and at the same time, you have the demos from up, from kitchen, focusing on the kids player. It's a really good collapse, cross angles, and they completely ignore the server player.
Yep, and that's literally what they get to. They kill everybody, and it's basically a flawless round from PSG Talon. That puts the scoreboard at 5-3, and basically the scoreboard pressure, it took BDS a massive comeback from there, and that's basically something they did across all of their attacks. Now, that's this telestration done. But if you stick around after this break, I think there's a little Fabian interview coming up.